I believe that given the global cycle, US bond yields are up and to the right for the next 25 years. So that means they're just going to steadily rise. If we get a recession, fine, right? Bond yields will fall. Your mortgage rate possibly could fall, but you may not have a job to be able to make yourself a decent credit to the bank to refinance your mortgage or to buy a house at that point. So I feel very sorry for anyone who's in this situation. It is not an easy situation. That said, I think house prices are about as high as they're probably going to get because we just simply can't afford them anymore. What's been driving this house price appreciation is the appreciation of the equity market. That's why we've moved to a very large proportion of homes that are being bought with cash because people are cashing out stocks or they're cashing out Bitcoin or they're cashing out something else. But that kind of looks to me like it's run its course. And you can start to see house prices starting to flatten out. It's just I don't think financing is going to get any cheaper. I still think, I know what you were saying about Miami, but when you look at ownership costs versus rental costs, so people don't appreciate this, right? They always want to own their home and make it themselves. Make it theirs. And I do appreciate that, but from a purely financial perspective, when you consider the maintenance cost of running a home, which, trust me, is extraordinary, the taxes, any HOAs that you have to pay, renting relative to owning has never been a better deal, particularly in an environment where you don't see house prices appreciating that much more. I just don't see how they can.
I see. Listen, Steve, you both, and I know you both personally, you have a friend, and you as well, Julian, in the administration. I want your opinion about the Trump administration. And both of you, for some sort of a, rare thing, you both have been working with two of the major people that are actually now in the administration, separate friends of you guys. I want to start with you, Steve. What do you think about the Trump administration that is creating this, wave in the world, and specifically, in your opinion, if they're going to be successful in the short and long term with these changes, with Elon Musk, with all that? And what do you think about that political new landscape? And then I'll ask you probably the same question to you, Julian, because you also have a very good friend. It's up to you if you want to disclose it. Are people very close to Donald Trump? Different guys, but it's funny that you both have that relationship with such an important person in the administration.
Well, in my opinion, and there's one thing I've been able to learn about markets in general. You never marry anything. Okay. So opine on politics is not what I do. I opine on things that I can and cannot understand. Obviously, with this new administration, it's a new normal. Okay. And only time will tell, right? Do I think that they're doing things that make sense? Yes, they have to cut the budget. Yes, they're going to have to do certain things like that. But the real issue becomes this. It's the dynamics and it's the acceptance of how they can negotiate through these tariffs. And there will be negotiations. There's not going to be any wars. There's not going to be any World War III. It's all purely about money and tactics of the saber atom of what needs to get done. Okay, that's what I truly believe. And as far as home ownership in the United States, there's one thing that you need to understand, that I at least understand. Home ownership in the United States is the cornerstone of the country, and it'll always be that way. There's a famous saying, people shouldn't be buying a home as an investment. They should be buying a home to live in, okay? And I think people, and someone like myself, I've seen rates, 10%, okay? 11% on a jumbo. Okay, so I've seen a lot of the cycles. But as far as the administration, I think, an idea without execution is no idea. So they're going to have to execute, and it's just not enough time yet. Okay, so they've come with a shock and awe policy, all right, to wake up people a little bit, and you're going to see what's going to happen. Okay, I mean, it's just that simple, but I can tell you one thing. Okay, they're ready to negotiate. They're ready to play hardball. And look at the backgrounds of the people that are in the administration. Hardcore negotiators. They like to win. And now they're going to have to determine if they understand certain parts of the political dynamics of the globe. And that's the new normal that's going to be implemented right now. And we'll see. Obviously, think he surrounded himself with great people, and he actually learned, from his last episode as president. He's a tough negotiator, but this weekend's going to be very important. This weekend's going to be very important. They allow these hostages to leave. He said some very, very strong words. Okay, and in my opinion, like you should. Okay, sometimes it's a little radical, but it is what it is. The markets are radical.
I see. Julian, you call it like everybody else Trump 2.0. Are you confident that Trump with his team will be able to really clean the mess in Washington, D.C.? Do you think that your friend in the administration will be able to deliver when we still have this deficit and these problems that are going to create major issues for the government in the next quarters? What is your opinion, Julian, please?
I would like to think so. My particular context, I know things, the current setup of the US economy is very fragile, and that this basically is the last opportunity for the US to get to grips with the deficit before it's too late, before essentially I would agree with them. I think this takes enormous radical change. I do not believe markets understand this. I think markets are far too sanguine about benefits that infers without considering the cost. And the costs are high, and the costs are arguably excruciatingly painful in the short term. And I don't think anyone has considered it. I think we have a market that constantly wants to believe the glass is half full, that constantly is reinforced by the inertia of the last 15 years, where US stocks have only gone up and US stocks have absolutely outperformed and US wealth has only risen, and they believe it is exception, right? If spending like a drunken sailor